I also just wanted to very quickly, in a libertarian fashion, address this issue of monopoly, because someone said, what I said was, I don't want corporations dictating healthcare, but I do want corporations involved in providing healthcare. And without the government, indeed, there would not be a corporation. We're going to talk about that in the next video. But without the government, companies could not dictate healthcare. And by dictating, I mean a certain treatment or a certain drug upon the population or certain segments of the population, telling people what they have to take or even what they can't take. And this person said, what are you talking about? Do you know about monopolies, what a monopoly is? And the great discovery of Murray Rothbard, who was the genius Austrian economist in the United States of the last century, was that there cannot exist a monopoly on a free market. That's right. Even the older Austrian economists like Mises said that because of monopolies, you need government intervention. But Rothbard proved the fact that you can't have monopolies. And just very simply, the only way a monopoly happens is when there's a cartel. Either there's a cartel of businesses getting together and cornering a product or a service and saying, okay, we will sell them at these prices and we will not lower our prices. Those are monopoly prices. Well, as Rothbard points out, absent a mechanism of legal coercion, someone will go in there and cheat on the monopoly price. Why? Because they can make money doing that. Because if let's say there's a monopoly on Wonder Bread, and companies say, well, we can't sell Wonder Bread for under $9, and we're all going to abide by this agreement so we can keep the price artificially inflated. Do you not think that some secret group of people will come and start selling Wonder Bread on the street corners for, say, $7? Why wouldn't they? Because they would immediately be able to compete with this huge cartel just on price. No, it's only force and government and or weapons and so on that can force people to obey these prices or make it illegal for people to buy the product from anybody besides the approved companies or the approved corporations. And of course, the second aspect of this is if a good or a service, in a very rare case like gold, for example, were to be simply owned by one person. And that's very rare. But in the cases of this, guys, people will always find substitutes. If a person owned all of the gold, and let's say gold was money, and he said, okay, you have to get all your gold for me, and you're going to have to buy it. Let's say gold is $5,000 an ounce. You're going to have to buy it for me for $7,000 an ounce. People will just switch over to silver. They'll switch over to some other commodity. It might cost them more, but it won't cost them as much as to buy from this individual. For other goods and services, guys, it's so simple. Like if someone makes a tie and he says, I have a monopoly on these ties. Well, someone can simply make another tie. And we see this all the time with, for example, Gucci says they have a monopoly on a bag and people make an imitation, and a lot of people can hardly tell whether it's an imitation or whether it's the original. So guys, monopolies are a myth and they simply cannot exist. And again, the best defense against a monopoly is non-coercive power and a free market. Till very soon, guys, this is the Libertarian Investor wishing you a wonderful evening.